Mosslands mines again. Just a little topic about this 5G. I found out that the military was using it for years, which we've all known. So like writing and all that type of stuff. But now, I found out on these files, you can check this out yourself. I don't know how to say this because it's as if it's murder in mass. They know they've been using it as weapons for years against the opposite in the war to try and break their will, make them depressed, anxiety, give up the war. That's what they want. And that's what 5G's about, 5 gigahertz. And they're talking about this 4G, yeah, they only use a small amount, like these towers. This 5G is going to be twice, triple, quadruple the amount of these boxes around. And not only are there going to be more of them, they're going to be much lower than the old ones. So then technically we're going to be walking around in what you could basically class as a live microwave. This concerns me. Because not only that, the side effects, the people it dangers the most is children and elderly people. It's coming to that point in this planet, in this world, I'd rather just be alone. Me, the woods, the fire, the wildlife, what remains of it. Maybe there's only one good thing that's going to come out of this, and maybe that is that the wildlife's going to regain its population somehow. Because the one thing, Stafford I think it was, don't hold me, but I think it was Stafford, the green area of Stafford, it's been voted the Greenland of the country that's got that many mature trees. But they went round and cut them all down, and I found out the reason why they cut them all down is because it restricts the waves of the 5G. So that tells me the safest place you could possibly be now on this planet to evade this 5G is in the woods, because the trees have a magnetic, like a defence that stops the magnetic forces, the fields, the energy is coming through the trees because they're solid. Apparently it can't transmit through solid objects. That's why they're having to put one on nearly every 2 or 3 houses along every street. On every lamppost there's going to be a box. You know, surely it's not just me that's concerned about this. It's real, it's a fact. It's not just something I'm coming up with, or fiction, or conspiracy. This is actual research I've got, and probably on the next video I do, or even this video, I might just edit it and put the video footage that I found of the general that come up with 5G actually invented it for the Ministry of Defence as a weapon to discourage the enemies. Do you know what I mean? Who is the government? We don't know who the government are, do we? Who are the leaders? They certainly haven't got us in their favour, because the doctors have been appealing it. The doctors are saying they don't want this 5G because they know the risks, the health risks, they're evident. And they're saying, oh well, we've got to run it for so many years to find out whether it is going to affect the humans. But it's evident it's already affecting the humans, hence why they're using it as a weapon of war.
I'll show you this video now. Peace out.
Scientists, doctors, environmental organizers, and concerned citizens got together and they called for the urgent stop to the deployment of 5G. They said that it's been proven harmful to human bodies, that this is an experiment on humanity, and that this should be called a crime under international law.
"5G is a weapon. It's used by the military. Do you know these 5G millimeter wave technologies are used to scatter crowds? They drive up in this technology when they want to scatter a cloud, and they put out these frequencies in a much higher power than 5G will be initially with us, but the same frequencies. And people scatter because they get the feeling their skin is on fire. Because the human body, including the skin, is an antenna. It interacts with frequencies and it receives and transmits information. At the cutting edge of understanding of DNA, scientists know that DNA is a receiver-transmitter of information.
I have to tell people 5G story. It's bigger than the Holocaust. It's bigger than anything you've ever heard. I'm Mark Steele. Anybody who hasn't heard me. I'm a weapons systems head-up display expert. I'm one of the leading experts in the world. I've actually broke cover in relation to this, and the reason I became an expert was because I invented 5G as a killer. Do not believe a single word I say. Not one. I want you to do your own research. You'll find it's absolutely terrifying.
There are going to be boxes broadcasting 5G, this weapon, down every street, all over the world.
What we're concerned about 5G is that it's going to require a transmitter about every 3 to 10 homes. So you're talking about a small cell tower placed in front of your home.
Because at these high frequencies, you can't have...
It doesn't travel very well.
Yeah.
And people need to understand, it's 24 gigahertz to 90 gigahertz. These are not 2 feet. These are 2 inches to half an inch. And this is very dense wireless radiation hitting our bodies. What we know is that it pulses more, it's got higher frequency, more waves per second, it beats up the cells more.
Let's talk about today's technology, what we have going on today. Your phone is constantly sending electromagnetic fields in and out of each other. Whether or not you're receiving a notification right now, all of our digital tech sends this data back and forth, right, using these invisible microwave radiation signals. That's today's tech. We have every cell tower, every router constantly pulsing with radiation, whether or not you're using it. Science shows that this causes DNA damage, cancer, among other things. But don't take my word for it.
And that's just with 4G.
That's just with today's technology.
Before we get to 5G, right now you got some of it, but not that much.
Wireless radiation has biological effects, period. These effects are seen in all life forms: plants, animals, insects, microbes. In humans, we have clear evidence of cancer now. There is no question. We have evidence of DNA damage, cardiomyopathy, which is the precursor of congestive heart failure, neuropsychiatric effects. So 5G is not a conversation about whether or not these biological effects exist. They clearly do. 5G is a conversation about unsustainable healthcare expenditure.
So we are electromagnetic, electrical organisms, transmitters and receivers of information. When our electromagnetic fields are in balance and harmony, we have health. We have psychological health and we have physical health. The reason that this technological society is causing so much psychological and, quote, physical disease is because these frequencies, technologically driven, and we live in this Wi-Fi world now and all the phone masts and all the rest of it, these technologically generated frequencies are scrambling the balance of the human electromagnetic electrical communication systems. And if you scramble them, you create a state of disharmony, dis-ease, which plays through to physical and mental, emotional, psychological dis-ease. And there's another point to this. The brain processes information electrically. It communicates with the cellular structure electrically, and it operates within a certain band of frequency. If you can broadcast frequencies carrying information, this technology has long been known, carrying information and perceptions within the frequency that the brain decodes information, the brain will decode those frequencies and will have those perceptions. You can influence people's perceptions externally by broadcasting these frequencies that we interact with, because we are antenna. Okay. Now, some decades ago, there was a guy who worked out the frequencies of different emotional states. This is long ago. I mean, it's very, very sophisticated now. So every thought, every emotional response is a frequency. It generates a frequency, and it is of itself a frequency. Hate is a frequency, and it's different to love. You know, when you are in a room and there's lots of aggression and conflict and hatred, you feel it. What do people say? Oh God, you can cut the atmosphere with a knife in there. That is because the frequencies of hate and conflict have been so generated, they have changed the electromagnetic field of the room.
Okay, so 5G is going to be weaponized against us potentially.
Yeah, but the point being that they worked out the frequencies of various emotions, including rage and what have you. And basically, they can play across a community these frequencies without anyone knowing, and it starts to have an effect, and it starts to build rage, it starts to build anger, and people might not realize why they're feeling it, but they start to feel it. And then what they do